Hi everyone, and welcome back to this episode of the Classics in Conversation. This is Georgie, not Heather this time. So I will tell you who I'm joined by. I've got Heather, obviously. And we have the inimitable and fantastic Eammon Jacobs with us.
Oh, thank you very much. Hi, how you doing?
So, I mean, we're here.
Yeah.
Which is,
I think this is Eamon's third appearance on the podcast.
Yeah, he won't leave us alone. If anyone knows how to file a restraining order, get in contact.
I just want attention.
Right. Well, it was a no-brainer to have you for this
Oh,
episode because we are talking about, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, one of the best films ever made.
Ooh.
Scream.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong, though?
I agree.
I'd put it up there.
Yeah. I agree.
It's probably my favourite slasher.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it might be mine.
Bold.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think I'm going to even bold it and say that I think it saved the slasher genre.
I'm going to not be so bold and agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to completely, wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah.
I think it gave rise to a massive resurgence in horror in the 1990s.
100%. And also, like, a kind of different sort of self-aware horror.
Yeah.
Meta horror.
Yes.
Meta
we'll
horror.
Get onto that later.
If we already, trodden on the toes of the first question of, do you like the film?
Yeah, very much.
No.
I think, no.
No, I don't. I really don't like it. I hate it.
Average it.
I'm going to leave now.
Bye.
No, it's a fucking great film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I watched it about 4 hours ago. And yeah, it is a great film.
I finished it about 30 minutes ago. It's a great film.
Yeah. Fresh in our minds.
Yeah, for real.
We're nothing if not prepared.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like it. I think you're right. It's definitely one of those that, for me, I obviously was like 6 when it actually came out. So I saw it probably 10 years later. It was definitely one of the first horrors that I saw. And I probably was terrified of it. Because I used to be a horror wuss.
Yeah.
I will have been 2.
I would have been 3, and in fact, I would have been exactly 3 because it came on my birthday in the UK.
Oh,
nice.
That's so exciting!
Yeah. So
Wes Craven got you a birthday present, and you didn't even know about it.
That's a freaking good birthday present, right? Scream. Right. Yeah.
I will hold my hands up and say I only watched this
30 minutes ago
because I saw the trailer for Scream 4, and I was like, that looks really good, but. You need to watch the first one.
Can't start at number 4. Yeah.
Can't start at number 4. I don't know who Ghostface is. Anne was like, what? And sort of became really obsessed. In fact, I think it was like the same summer that I just got into horror in general. Like started watching stuff like The Thing and Halloween and whatnot. And then this was just like, this is great.
I definitely think I started with like way more contemporary horrors to like the classics that we've talked about. Like I think it was definitely like this kind of thing. Because like I knew people who like ran video shops back in the day. Not even Blockbuster, a local one.
That's cool.
Yeah, and had like like older babysitters and stuff, and they'd be like, "Yeah, you can just watch this film," and then they'd like bugger off. I know, it's cool, man. And yeah, we watched, I'm sure it was this, and then like I just had nightmares, and then I couldn't go on a school trip the next day.
Oh no.
Yeah, my mum was like, you will never watch these again. Yeah, I definitely like, I think I got up to like where Rose McGowan gets stuck in the garage, and I was like, nope.
Bye.
Yeah, that'll give you some issues.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I watched this Home Alone, not Home Alone, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
And was just a bit like afterwards, like really freaked out, but in a good way.
Yeah.
But I think part of its charm is that it's so funny.
Yeah.
Like it kind of gives you that little bit of respite, where like other ones will do like plot-based stuff in the daytime. This one's just like, all right, well now here's your little meta contextual conversation about, you know, horror movies and stuff with some, you know, a good dose of comedy, which was like really refreshing, especially after watching things like The Thing and Halloween.
Yeah.
So,
No, go ahead, G.
Like we've spoken before about horror comedy, about American Werewolf in London, which is I don't know if you guys know. I don't know if you've heard me say this before. It is one of my favorite ever films.
I did not know this about you.
It's brand new information.
I had no idea.
No clue.
Shocked.
But I think that it is such a fine line, and we always say the quickest thing in the world that will ever dispel fear is laughter. And I think it's just where films can kind of tread that line so well. And I think Scream just takes it to a whole other level, because it is that kind of tongue-in-cheek meta references, and it is, like you said, a little bit of respite, but it can switch it really straight back to being completely fucking terrifying again. You know?
Yeah, I definitely think like it goes from being like that laughing relief because you've like jumped and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna laugh it off, it's fine, like I didn't just like pee my pants. But then it goes like the other side where they're like manically laughing and you're like, oh, I'm going to die then. Like, okay. Great.
Yeah. I think this sorry, just to go back to what you said about contemporary horror, like this kind of for me came at a time when stuff like Paranormal Activity was out. Like jump a minute, you know, scare fest, and I was like, mate, I'm too much of a wuss for that. I can't handle it.
Literally.
Whereas Scream, I think, has a really good balance of scares. You know, because when it does make you jump, and oh boy, does it, they are great and they are really chilling moments, but they're not like constant. Do you know what I mean? You are on the edge of your seat, but you're, like you say, you're not going to pee yourself.
It's not like oversaturated, you know?
Yeah,
it's not. You can enjoy it still.
It's not like
straight to my point. Oversaturated is exactly the word I meant and just couldn't think of.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, man.
Oh, synergy, man, it's happening.
Like one mind.
It's
Get out
like
of my brain.
It's just full of Spider-Men. Is that not Georgie's brain?
To be fair, it could be either or.
I mean,
it's the same picture.
Where is the lie?
But like I think, like you say, like compared to films like The Descent, where you're literally just like the whole time you're like, this is horrendous, obviously, and amazing, but like horrendous. There's bits in Scream where like there's a bit in particular where the Sydney and Rose McGowan, whose character name I can't remember, are on the porch and they're like talking, and then you just see him in a bush like and I'm like, what is he doing? He's just having like a little shuffle off to like go and find a good hiding spot. And I'm like, all right, like cool, like I'm okay for a bit
almost now. Like high school teen comedy in places, isn't it? Like coming of age you know, they do have like the whole conversations about like, you know, Sydney being a virgin and like not sleeping with Stu yet, and that is just like straight out of stuff like, you know, off the top of my head, like 10 Things I Hate About You, or just do you know what I mean? It's great. It's so many genres mixed in just like a perfect blend.
It definitely is. And I think like the amount of like pop culture references that are like shoved in every single minute almost like sort of like dispels some of that fear, but you sort of like, I think it gives you clues like really early on as to like what the outcome's going to be, because I remember not being like particularly shocked the last time I like, you know, like the first time I watched it in full and paid attention and wasn't like behind a cushion.
Behind a cushion.
I was at like the 2:00 on a Sunday, nice and daylight, safe time for horror films. And I was like, these guys talk a lot about horror films. Maybe they're murderers. And then here we are today, talking about horror films.
Yeah, because I think Stu references The Exorcist within like the first like 5 minutes of that scene in Sydney's bedroom, doesn't he? And it's a bit like, it's a bit of a weird thing to bring up when you're trying to seduce your girlfriend. Just just thought, not the sexiest of topics, is it?
I mean, yeah, not really. No.
Not feeling vegan, throwing up pea soup everywhere.
That's the thing. There's so many sexier horror films. I mean, Scream's the sexiest horror film, but like,
Of course.
Yeah,
why
that
because one? And that takes us on perfectly. Why is everybody so attractive? Like, what's going on?
Everybody's attractive.
Everybody's attractive.
Maybe not the camera guy.
Yeah, okay. Like, I'm going to say, like, the main 5 people are super
Yeah, they're all beautiful.
But also, they're still beautiful. Like, there was some magic, I think, going on that set because they still look amazing.
What was in that water? Because
Gimme.
I need some. Some. Give me it. I'm thirsty.
Me watching that film.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Pretty much the notes that me and G have are just that.
Yeah, to be fair.
I do. My first note is just Sydney fucking Prescott. So.
Yeah.
Billy, to be honest. So.
Billy, for sure, yeah. Skeet Ulrich, what a babe.
Still you can't show me a soft, floppy haired boy licking blood off his hands and expect me to be okay with it. Sorry, Mom. But like...
All right, Edward.
Where it hurts. I'm gonna need 5 minutes. You guys talk about cultural impact or something. Just give me a second.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, no, everybody is attractive in this film.
Yeah.
Even like, Matthew Lillard's goofy as fuck. Where he's just fucking great in this. Like, he's chaotic.
Oh yeah, all the time.
He's great in everything though. Like,
he's
he's a little icon, right?
Like he is amazing in everything. But like I think particularly in this, like he just like has that perfect balance of like manic, way too into like serial killers, and also like that desire for Billy's attention and respect. And it's just like that combination.
Their dynamic's really interesting because, like, obviously, Stu very much thinks that they're a partnership, but he's still after Billy's approval. Billy's just straight up like using
Billy's out
him.
for himself, yeah,
100%. And it's like one of my favorite lines from Matthew Lillard is literally, "I'm feeling rosy here." It's so good.
Yeah,
it's so quotable.
He is so quotable. Like, them's the rules. It got ingrained into my vocabulary instantly.
Yeah.
To the point where I've said it before and then be like, what the fuck is that from? Like, I know it's from something, but I don't know where. Why have I absorbed that into my personality?
And I think as well, like, that deliverance of his weird pop culture obsession-y knowledge is just, like, spot on as well. Like, it's not like someone recalling facts like this. It's almost literally just like a continuation of like whatever he's saying. And it's like, as in like this film, and you're like, he's an eager beaver. He knows way too much.
But then the same can be said for like Randy as well, who also is just like a perfect character.
Yeah.
I think that's where like the meta stuff comes into it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's like the perfect scapegoat, where all the way through you're like, he's obsessed with Sid. He's obsessed with horror films. He's obsessed with the formula that they have to follow. He's obviously like, similarities are mounting.
Wow.
I was going to say that he's obviously like a creepy pervert virgin.
I said that before she said that, man. Okay.
And yeah, you would be like, it was that guy. But I was like, the perfect thing. Yeah, nice. Throwing hands.
You've got like all the archetypes, all the tropes. You've got exactly the right people.
Yeah.
I am not mad. I'm just disappointed.
That's worse.
However, I'm not saying you're wrong either. So. But no, yeah, he is the archetypal. He's the obvious suspect.
Yeah.
Aside from her dad, which everybody I think was like, nah.
Yeah, like I know, like it was trying to be like another red herring, but I was always just like, I don't think it's ever been your dad.
No, like it just felt a bit too.
I just felt sorry for him. He just gets like shoved in that cupboard at the end.
I felt. it's when they pull him out and he's on his knees, then he just sort of goes onto the floor and just sort of loses his balance. I was like, oh mate, you're having a really rough week, aren't you?
Yeah, he's had a bad time of it. Like,
yeah. Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Randy for me was just like, I was about to say is the one I sort of like latched onto. Not latched is the wrong word, but just like, you know, because of his references, I was like, oh, you know,
yeah,
it's the comedy. It's the, you know, the scene in the shop.
Yeah.
When he's like, everyone's a suspect. It's just like, just perfect.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like the fact that it does sort of lead us in this direction and that direction and present this guy and present this character. Like I think that goes like back to the fact that we were saying about it being almost like a meta sort of film, and it's, you know, standing in the sort of horror. I want to say Hall of Fame. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But like, it's like in Psycho, where they killed Marion so early on. We said this last episode 4.
Yeah.
That you have this huge character that's on all of your promos, all your posters, and then they're killed off within, like, obviously the first scene.
Yeah.
Psycho is sort of the first half. Yeah. And I think that sort of, you know, use of filming technique is just one of the things why it was so like revolutionary. Because I think it's fair to say that it was like a revolution.
Yeah, I think I would have loved to have seen this at the time, and seen it in an audience that had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because...
And also like an audience of people who were used to his other stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And like, her murder is like horrific.
Yes,
it's like slow and brutal, and it's like oof.
Yeah, it's like every other kill in this. Pretty much, you're a bit like, okay, that was grim, cool.
Yeah.
Hers, you actually feel really sorry for her because she's done like nothing wrong.
Yeah, she just wanted some popcorn.
She just wanted some popcorn. Wanted to watch a scary movie, chill out. You know. And
we've all been there.
We've all been there. Well,
this is why I don't answer my phone
when it rings. I've never been chased by a serial killer on a movie night, personally. Don't know what your Friday nights are like, but
pretty quiet,
pandemic. It's the phone call when she's trying to call her mum, and her mum can hear her like gasping on the phone. Like, that's the bit that gets me, and I'm just like, she was like feet away.
Yeah, it's when she can see them going through the front door, but she like can't like yell to them. Yeah. For me, it's the line when he says, I want to know who I'm looking at.
I want to know who I'm looking at.
Yeah. Every time I'm like, no.
Shivers.
No.
Yeah.
Not even shivers, like full on, like under the covers. Like...
I think this is one of those films that I can't speak for you. It's one that you watch like with your friends, with your buddies. And my house, well, not my house, but my parents' house, where I grew up, has all of the living room, all of the kitchen, and all of the den. Shut up, don't say anything. Has like floor to ceiling glass windows.
Yeah.
So like when you've got lights on and you don't watch this film in my house, it's terrifying because as soon as someone says that, there's no curtains. You can't close it. Oh, it's not an estate. It's just like, it's terrifying because you know what, my point's been ruined, so it's fine.
No, but I do know what you mean because, like, I don't know why. I know I can appreciate that is a nice architect feature, but you can't see out.
Yeah,
people can see in perfectly. You got no idea who's like creeping outside.
I hate it.
No, it's great.
It's terrifying. Yeah.
This is a daytime movie for you then.
Not anymore. I have a boring house now with like fancy architectural windows, so I'm like, whatever.
Got a boring house now.
Safe house.
I live in a block of flats, so they've all got heavy doors. There's one way in, one way out. I'm fine. I don't have that worry.
You're right. I'm in Yorkshire. Anything can happen up here. Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean,
Southampton.
To be fair, I know where you live, mate. It's not much better. Yeah. No, I used to live there too. I'm not just being an asshole. I'm not being a complete dick. I used to live there as well.
So, all right, Ocean Village.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So it's like one way in, one way out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get murdered by a serial killer. I feel like I've just jinxed myself.
Maybe.
so I'm probably going to die within like a week or something.
When this gets played in the courts of law, this is.
Oh my god, yeah, we didn't do it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to get to Southampton.
Them's the rules.
so-
Everyone's a suspect.
Them's the
Oh
rules!
god damn it! I knew it would
Hoisted by
happen.
my own petard.
Yeah.
Just
And we've
saying.
literally just announced that like they are serial killers because they love all that horror films and talking about them. And here we are. Sat.
I mean, you
Talking about them.
have a horror series.
For legal reasons, I have never seen a horror film.
For legal reasons, this is a joke.
Literally.
Anyway, let's move on from going to prison.
Incredible.
Why is everybody, as much as they are beautiful, they're all bad dicks?
Yeah.
Apart from Sid. I'll let her off. But
Sid is
Billy's
the
a
only
gaslighter.
nice person, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just a dickhead.
Yeah, like Billy's a dick. Gail, like, don't get me started. Like, I know we come to like Gail, but at the beginning, she's a bad dick.
I mean, she deserves being punched in the face.
She did
She
deserve
said-
the punch in the face, yeah.
And that's what I quite liked about Sid, though, is like she was allowed to be unpredictable if she wanted to be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though she's got full control of her emotions and stuff. If she wants to fly off the handle, she can, and you perfectly understand why.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah,
like,
she definitely reminds me of Nancy a little bit in that sense. Because she's kind of like, she's like going there, she's like doing things, and like she's not just sort of like waiting to be attacked or whatever. She's like trying to figure out what's going on, and like you say, she's unpredictable, and she's got like a little bit more like moxie to her.
That's a
she's
good
got her own
comparison.
agency. She's got more of her own agency. Do you know what I mean? It's like, even though obviously when you find out the twist, it is a little bit like, oh shit. But when she sleeps with Billy, you're fully like, that's fine. She's made that decision. You've seen how her decision has been formed from the start of the film to then, and it's like, sure, that makes sense. Why not?
Yeah.
And obviously, something afterwards, you're a bit like, huh? But Sydney fucking Prescott.
Can we get that on a t-shirt? I think we should get that on a t-shirt.
I think so.
That should be your next drop.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm actually really annoyed myself that I didn't bring my Final Girls t-shirt home.
Oh,
Because I was looking for it
earlier.
earlier and I was like, it's in Southampton. I can't fucking wear it.
Oh.
We'll wear it like when we go to T-Bubs.
Yes, it'll be like a little band.
Yes.
Be
Well
cute.
up for that.
Amazing.
Well up for that.
So hyped. I think the fact that everyone's a bit of a knob kind of speaks to, I think, when we, not to sound like an old person, when we're that age that they all are, and that everyone is kind of a dick, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's in their own way kind of an asshole. So I think it's a pretty accurate depiction of the kind of stereotypes of people you meet at that point in your life. That everyone's kind of a self-serving, self-preserving dick, you know?
Yeah, and everybody, you know, and I think at that age you should think that you know everything about the world.
Oh, 100%.
And, you know, you should be like overly confident and like full of your own, like proud of yourself and stuff. I think that's fine. But I think I almost think you still kind of like the characters, even that you know, like they're not
likable.
great. You're like, oh yeah, it's okay.
And I think that kind of comes back to the comedy of it. Because they're funny, you're a bit like, nah, it's fine. Maybe not Stu's line about like guts and being like entrails and stuff when Sid's like sat like right there. That was a little bit like, even for a teenage boy, that was a bit much. Like, you know.
How old were they when they were filming it?
Filming, or how old were the characters they were supposed to be playing?
How old were the actors?
No idea.
I'm gonna say like,
I would say early 20s.
Yeah, because there was definitely some points that I was like, "You're a full grown ass adult." Like,
yeah.
Considering like David Arquette's like 25, and clearly the same age as like all the actors, but with a mustache, and I'm like, guys.
I think Randy looks like a teenager.
Yeah.
Stu just about, but I think it's more his boyish face. Because he's tall, that makes him look older.
Yeah.
Billy, nah, man. You are a grown ass man. Like you should be in dive bars right now.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because I think really like the only one that I feel like I was like okay age placed was like Drew Barrymore at the beginning because she had like that cute little hairdo. But even then, I was like, I assume that you're like 18.
Yeah,
like
they're meant to be like 17, 18, right? Is that?
I don't know how like high schools work in the States.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, high school goes up to 18.
Okay, well,
they're in university.
Sense,
they're in college till
They're
like
college.
past 21, aren't they?
Yeah, in the US it's 4 years, I think, isn't it?
Blimey. But yeah,
you're from
none
the
of
US
them look
and you know the
17 or
answer
18.
to these questions.
Yeah,
tell us. Yeah, it's not as bad as like Greece, but yeah.
I thought you meant the country. I was like, what's their education system like? I don't know. Oh, that's interesting. That's not what you meant at all.
We've got a new podcast and we're just going to talk about different ages of high schools across the world. No, Greece, the movie. Dear. So, what are your thoughts then on the sequels? Have you folks watched them? TV show, perhaps?
So, I like Scream 2. Scream 3 is fine.
Yeah.
It's entertaining, but it's not, I think I've watched it once and that was kind of it. Scream 4, brilliant film, mate. Love it.
Yeah.
Like, actually excellent. I think it's, aside from maybe bits of Scream 2, it's the only one that comes close to the first film in terms of like subversion and expectations. Purely because it disarms you with the sort of family aspect with Emma Roberts' character, like purely just catches you off guard. And I'd say that's the closest for me what it would have been like watching it originally, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fun watch in the cinema. That was a great watch in the cinema.
I think I'll go and see like the new one in the cinema if we're allowed out.
If it's permitted.
Yeah,
I've still not seen Scream 4. I've still not seen it, but I've heard obviously fantastic things about it. I know, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's great. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do like a little marathon of them all. I haven't seen 2 and 3 in ages.
I don't think it's as scary as the first one. But it's definitely gorier.
All right.
There is a moment in a bedroom where I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get away with that as a 15.
Oh, really?
Sure, yeah. I was I was very surprised. But like it's one of those where I instantly like downloaded the soundtrack as soon as I got home as well.
Nice.
Oh, good. Testament to a good film, though.
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah,
sweet.
So sequels are pretty good. TV series, I really enjoyed the first season. Season 2 is naff. Season 2 is just like pure shite.
I really enjoyed the first season. Like, I feel like that had a really good plot of like who is going to be this killer. And at the end, you were like, oh shit, actually, no, I did not expect any of those things.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, cool.
And I liked it wasn't just a straight up remake.
Yeah.
It had like similar, ideas and themes of it, but it wasn't, it's not like this is the new Sydney. It's somebody else completely.
Yeah.
And the mask is pretty intense.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I liked it. It was a bit kind of like if you mixed Scream and Riverdale, you would get like the TV show, which I think that's probably why we enjoy it so much. Because we goddamn love that show.
I love Riverdale to an embarrassing amount. I feel like that's not news anymore.
No.
Sorry? It's got Skeet Ulrich in it.
It does have Skeet Ulrich in it until he decided to motorbike away in the last episode.
Motorbike away. Yeah, you got creatively bored.
Shocking.
I'm going to say that to my lecturers next week. I'm creatively bored. I don't want to come to this seminar.
But you have to do it on a motorbike.
Bored.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, through the lecture hall as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Through my online Zoom seminar.
Oh man.
Just wheel away on my office chair. Like,
that'd be perfect. Yeah.
But like even Riverdale riffs off Scream.
Yeah, for real.
This whole season's been like heavy on the horror film like references. Like a load of the first one was just like Betty's now Clarice. I was like,
there's I think it's, I can't remember if it's like after the time jump or the start of it, but like I counted and it was something like 8 references, like, and not just like subtle little fucking posters or anything, like direct riffs within like half an hour.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
it's I'm sure it's like the first bit of their adult life.
Yeah.
What is this show? The time jump.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Don't know. But yet, will I stop watching? Absolutely fucking not.
No way.
But I think it was like 2 seasons ago, they were chasing a serial killer because obviously Riverdale. And basically Skeet Ulrich's character comes through the bedroom window in the same way that he does in Scream.
Yeah.
And then the killer's in the house, and then he jumps through the window like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
See what you did there, CW.
But I loved it, so
I loved it.
Yeah.
But yes, so the TV, they're doing it. They're meant to be doing a new TV series as well as a movie. I heard.
Are they? Another new TV show. The TV show was only like,
I could be wrong.
3 years ago or something.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it's a while ago.
It's a while ago, and it kind of like just disappeared into nothingness, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, but so Scream 5 is going to be like Scream 5, isn't it?
Yes, isn't the 5 like the S or something? I can't remember what the poster looks like.
I so hope so.
But
I really hope
if it's not, then that's a better idea. But yeah, I'm excited to see everybody come back looking really beautiful. Well, of the ones that can.
Yeah,
which I assume
they will be. They will be beautiful. I saw a fan-made poster that sort of went viral because it looked real, and it was like on the side of a hill that was made out of like Ghostface's mask and like the car.
Oh, they're driving into it.
Yeah, and I was like, if that's real, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
like,
it looks so good.
Gutted.
That'd be perfect because it would be like if she's coming back to
Woodsboro.
Then it would be like
I guess
the
she did that
thing.
in 4, didn't she?
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah, I guess you know we don't want to run the risk of it being sort of like Halloween-y again. Just kind of like it's done a lot of Halloween in the previous Halloweens. Like it was boss because Jamie Lee had like a great hairdo, but it was like it's not much new here.
I did really like that new Halloween though.
I liked the little like I say this every time we talk about it, like a little safe room under the kitchen cabinet. I was like, that's boss.
So badass.
Yeah. Love
especially the bars that shoot out of the wood.
Yeah. Love it. It's like Home Alone Halloween version.
Halloween Alone.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, what more could you want?
Nothing.
Going back to the film at hand.
Yes.
One could argue that all of these references speak to the cultural impact of the film.
Thank you.
Nice.
She is the queen of the segues.
True.
Yes.
Okay, next question.
Yes, no, I 100% agree. Like I said right at the beginning, I definitely think it went a good way to sort of reignite the slasher genre, and it definitely will be like cited as the influence for thriller slasher horrors for like a lot of people in the last like 20 years. Simply just because it was so revolutionary in like every aspect.
I mean, it was very unpredictable.
Yeah.
It's like even like now it being the killer being the boyfriend is like, of course it was. But it's only that obvious because of Scream.
Yeah.
If you put it in context at the time, that is like groundbreaking, you know, flipping it on its head completely. And I think that's kind of what Wes Craven does really well with this film, is like he's completely telling fans and, you know, horror audiences to just like sit down, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. For sure. Like I think the 70s, I think 70s are one of my favorite decades for horror. 80s were great too, but as it came to the end of the 80s, there was this kind of, I think when Scream came out, it kind of grabbed the back of the horror genre's t-shirt and pulled it back from a kind of rocky looking edge, you know? I think horror was in a really, not a weak position, but I think it definitely had seen better days than it was, you know, currently living through when Scream came out. And I think that it's exactly like you said, Eamon, when that came out, it was very much a sit down, watch this. It's not what you think. It's not like anything you think. This is what we're doing from now on because it's better than what's been done before.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I guess it can be said the same for, you know, any genre that gets popular, and that genre then gets diluted with so many other films, and like you say, the 70s and the 80s in particular, just there was you know, awash with horror movies and like slashers. Now obviously it's superhero movies that are, you know, fucking one every 2 months sort of thing, or TV shows or whatever. And yeah, completely agree. Scream just yanked it back and was like, this is how we do it. And I think that kind of cements Ghostface as like one of the best slashers in history, personally.
100%.
So,
you know why? Another reason I think that too. He's clumsy as fuck.
Yeah.
I love that because I always watch these films. I'm one of those people who I watched I Care a lot the other day.
yes.
Like we'll talk about it after.
I haven't seen it yet.
I won't say anything, but there's a scene like whenever a character goes underwater, I'm that person that will be like, right, okay, then try and hold my breath for the same amount of time. And whenever I watch these films, I'm like, I would definitely have fallen over by this point. I would have tripped over. And I love it. Yes.
Yeah, when Skeet Ulrich, when he falls down the stairs, I'm like, yeah, big mood.
Yeah.
Like,
you know,
I get that.
love that. I love that.
Like, he gets booted in the face, or the pair of them get booted in the face so many times.
Right.
Like, it's a wonder they didn't get found out beforehand from, like, having black eyes or a broken nose. Because they do just get the shit kicked out of them by their victims before they die. And it's just a bit like, no, you're actually not very good at this, really. Are you?
And that's why I love it, you know? He's not like a seasoned slasher.
Yeah.
But then, is that not going to be a problem for Scream 5? Because if you think about it, modern technology and like DNA, crime scene analysis and whatnot is so advanced now.
Yeah.
Police can track shit very quickly. High school serial killer in 2021 is probably going to end up TikToking that shit to begin with.
TikTok dance, yeah.
TikTok dance, like.
That was amazing.
Please don't do anything with that footage, thanks.
This is going like on the YouTube. Like that was like seeing my mum and dad doing it at a wedding. I loved it.
Oh, you're our child now.
Oh God. Anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what
I
I mean?
know what you mean though.
It's gonna cause a problem. It's like, how do you solve that? How do you get around that?
Yeah.
For 2021 or 2023, whenever it comes out, sort of thing. So
next January.
Is it next January?
Yeah, I'm sure it's definitely next year, I think.
Nice.
Because there was quite a lot of like hoo-ha about it at the end of last year.
Yeah,
I
vaguely
think
remember seeing it all on Twitter, but I just can't remember what the hoo-ha was about.
I remember someone being like, that's not going to be ready for January, and I was like, the date literally says 2022. Are you having an okay moment there, fella?
Read it again. Take a breath.
Yeah, sit down
and
and calm
delete
down.
your tweet.
Yeah, and go home. I think you're right though, because it'll be interesting to see what they're going to bring, and whether it's going to be that sort of like a whole new host of kids versus this new enemy, and then like Sid turns up, Gale turns up, and it's like adult, you know, like Terminator when they're all grown and they're like, we're here to help you kids, and they just like save the day. I don't even know which Terminator I'm referencing.
We're here to help you kids. That's like, definitely a line that Arnold Schwarzenegger said. Yep.
I wasn't even thinking about that one. I was thinking of the last one with the two old ladies, or one's old and one's a robot.
I fucking was really up for that film. I was like, mate, badass Linda Hamilton. Yes, fucking please. And then it arrived, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, it'd be like, okay, so it'd be like Linda Hamilton and like Furiosa but as like Gale Weathers and Sid come in to like save the kids. That's what I hope for.
Hey,
Amazing.
somebody give Dimension Films a call, like right now.
I have their number actually, so
They
yeah,
can call my
Heather's
people.
Heather's got a
and
pitch.
It's happening. I said to Georgie before, Parsnip's like literally asleep under my feet, and I'm so concerned that I'm gonna like kick her. So I keep moving them, being like, "Shit, my baby,
my furry baby,
my little angel." Yes. So the other thing I was gonna say was, something that I really like about Scream is the mindlessness of the earlier murders. So like I know that he gives like a reason for killing her mum, but like all of the others, and I think they say, don't they, as well, that like, isn't it scarier when they don't have a motive? And I'm always like oh, it is.
Motives are incidental or something along those lines. Yeah, it's just doing it because why not?
That's always been like
scarier, isn't it? It's like I'm doing this because I can. And I think it's kind of interesting without getting bleak. It's very it's very Columbine, if that makes sense. In a way of like this they feel free in doing this. They're like you don't have any consequences.
It's like
there's a very
the
straight white male
as well. Like
yes, definitely.
Based on the French film, that's literally just a group of teens who go and terrorize a couple in a house
just for the
funds. And it's like
it's a Friday night. I know what I'm gonna go do.
Yeah.
For legal reasons, that was a joke.
That was a joke.
That I think for me is like easily one of the scariest like horror tropes ever. Like that concept of just like mindless violence.
For the sake of it.
You can always apply the different situations to yourself, but when it's a case of this could be anyone, I'm doing it because I want to. You don't have to know anybody. You don't have to be in a relationship with somebody. You don't have to have any kind of acquaintance. You can be walking down the street or chilling at home, you know? And it's literally that kind of randomness that is so scary, you know, that is so...
Yeah, because at least with things like I Know What You Did Last Summer, I'm like, I'm fine because I know I didn't run anybody over and throw them into like a ditch. So I'm like, I am safe in this scenario. But then when they're like, all the way through, it just seems mindless. You're like, shit, this could literally just be like a high school party. People turn up that you don't know, always. Anything could go on. Anyone could get stabbed. Although I must admit, no party I've ever been to was
could
like
get stabbed. Just
there was definitely no like gang of kids watching like movies in any of like the parties that I went to, and they're all like chilling in the lounge. Oh, Eammon.
Yeah.
Don't worry, mate. I didn't get invited to any parties, so at least you're cooler than me. So
it's like you know, the three. This kind of just goes down in levels, doesn't it? Heb's crazy, wild teenage years. Eamon just sat at Halloween parties, drinking, you know, Pepsi Max and watching Resident Evil.
I love that film.
Yeah.
And Georgie did nothing.
Basically.
Georgie stayed at home with like her Twilight books
Literally.
and her massive windows like they have in their house in Twilight.
Literally. No shit, Midnight Sun is like in my top drawer of my bedside table.
Yeah.
Did you get all like moody and brooding at the windows like
No. I didn't sit on a chair in the window like Bella does.
Did you pretend to be fucking Bella out of is it Eclipse?
Yeah, 100% in my chair with the
New Moon?
soundtrack.
I can't remember.
No, it's when he leaves, isn't it? Yeah. Sitting there listening to my soundtrack, watching the seasons change.
Oh yeah, because it's when he goes
For legal reasons, this is very much not a joke. I did that. So.
Amazing.
Listen.
Bold claim though, when Twilight first came out, I was like, that was quite a good film.
Because it's fucking fantastic.
And then I
How many times have I made you watch these films?
You made me watch a portion of them. Was it on Halloween or was it?
It was.
Yes.
Well, that is scary.
Yeah, well, that was it. We did literally 1, 2, and half of 3.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
She loves me very much.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is great. I will give you that.
Yeah. To
Anything
be
that
fair, yeah.
that puts mute math gets a bit of a pass from me. But anyway,
We've
Scream.
gone very off topic. Yeah, back to actual horror films.
Yeah, no, I remember watching like 28 Weeks Later and Resident Evil Extinction at a Halloween party once. Like we had the lights off, and one of our friends ran round to the living room backed onto a garden at a friend's house, and just like slapped on the window.
Oh my god!
And like, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Lots of
Absolutely
high pitched
shit
squeals.
Oh yeah, like, you know, popcorn all over the place.
Yeah.
Not a euphemism. There was literally popcorn all over the place.
Getting wild.
Yeah.
Oh, rock and roll, mate.
Oh, I miss having like movie parties
Mm.
and being like allowed to go
It's
to
great.
cinema.
We're gonna me and a few friends are gonna watch a true horror movie in about a month's time, and we're gonna get very drunk because it's the only way we're gonna have to watch it. Justice League.
The horror of horrors.
I actually don't think I
Jesus.
can bring myself to do it. Like the fear is too real.
Yeah, no, we've already planned it. It's happening. But I fear I might get too drunk just to get through it. But it's a 4-hour long film.
Ugh. It's grim.
Somebody needs to tell Zack Snyder to stop. Anyway,
General.
back to true horror.
Always. Yeah. To be honest, I think we've kind of like touched upon all the things that we were going to touch upon.
Also, the score was great. Sorry.
The score is great. Genuinely really haunting. Again.
Yeah. Different, interesting, bit of a move from what we've known before. Love that it ties in. Okay.
Again, just that opening scene, it's the little strings in the background when her mum's trying to talk to her on the phone and can just sort of like hear like a raspy noise or whatever. That music makes that scene just really work. And very emotional.
I think as well, like it's not as, considering it's maybe like more of an over the top film than like the likes of like Nightmare on Elm Street. The score is like a little bit more subdued. Because like Nightmare on Elm Street's like ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. There's Freddy like with his big stretchy arms in an alleyway, and there's literally that's it. I mean, and then there's like some like synth wave, and you're like, what is happening here? Like,
I love that film so much.
And even like Halloween is
the
score's like part of the film in a big way. Like that's its personality. Whereas, mind you, I was about to say that Scream's score's really subtle, but like it goes over the top and like zooms in on Casey's face when she's hanging up on the tree. Yeah, that's not very subtle.
It has its moments of subtlety.
Tell you what I did find really interesting is that even though like Ghostface is the sort of main figure of the franchise, like he's the icon, or it is the icon, the mask, whatever. I think it's kind of interesting that the majority of the finale is just like, you know, people running around dressed normally without a mask on. And I think that's another thing that makes it kind of a bit more bold, because it's like, you know, whether it's Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, whoever, there's kind of like a separation between the audience. Like, well, that thing isn't real, so I wouldn't get scared of being chased by that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like even as basic as like Scooby-Doo. Like they don't take the mask off until he's safely like in custody. Whereas this, we're like literally faced with the two people who have done all the murders, just spilling everything. Like they are like very proud of themselves.
And I just quite liked that. It's just once again does something a bit different.
For sure.
And that's my 2 cents on it.
It's very true though. It's very true. Like in another podcast, I'm sorry, I'm not cheating on you. We were talking about like our least favorite tropes in cinema, and Rachel, my cousin-in-law, was like, when the killers get way too cocky and take a mask off, and it's like, I am here. It's like, put it back on. You ain't done your job yet. Like.
You're not finished.
Literally, right? But for some reason, the Scream, like you said, it's like, oh, okay, that's happening. It's just like plain clothes running around.
and it allows a little bit more character development, I think.
Yeah.
Just because you do get a really good peek into Billy's psyche, particularly more than Stu.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get
although
more of that like relationship we were talking about before.
100%. I do quite like when Stu, well, Billy throws the phone at Stu, and then he's like, "Oh, my mum's gonna kill me," or whatever. I just loved it. It was like kind of weirdly ironic, but just yeah, it was great. Sydney Prescott is one of the best final girls of all time, and that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
Shall we go to the comments from our people?
From our people,
From our
yes.
Our people. Okay. So, Ben from the X Geeks said it rejuvenated the slasher genre. It had huge influence on the horror filmmakers that came after. It's a standout modern classic whose influence can still be seen in its perfect casting and a killer script.
Every single point of that is spot on.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head
there. Black Coffee Games said it's the best horror film ever made. Period.
That's my cousin-in-law. She is correct.
You are correct.
Nice.
Norm said the tension in Scream is created by the horrific and slow death of Drew Barrymore at the start. We spend the rest of the movie waiting for something just as bad or worse, but it never does. That's very true.
We kind of touched upon that, didn't we?
Yeah, I think I can't think of what her name is, but Rose McGowan.
Rose McGowan, yeah.
Rose McGowan. Her death is like, it is a little bit daft.
Yeah.
But it is daft.
Yeah, but she was definitely kind of done dirty because they just left her.
Yeah.
And then she's like ignored.
It's still pretty, if you think about it, it's still pretty fucked up. You know what I mean? Especially when you see, I think what's more effective is when you see the shutter mechanism is just like keeps trying to do it and fucks up until it like sparks out. I think that's actually more effective than seeing her get like a spine or neck broken or whatever it actually is that kills her, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Casey's is the worst.
I think so. What a way to kick off a film, huh?
I always thought that he stabbed her in the neck. Because like he strangles her and then he's like does something, and I was like, oh, and then on the rewatch I was like, oh, there's no, I don't know.
I must admit, I always thought he did something because she couldn't scream at her parents very well.
Yeah, but it's like he strangles her with two hands and then does something with the knife. You can't see where he puts the knife, and then when she's running, like you say, she's just going. So it's a bit weird.
Maybe like when I run, to be fair.
Same.
Maybe like crushes her vocal cords or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Eammon Jacobs said Sydney Prescott is fucking brilliant. Very true.
He's very, very on point there. Correct, Mundo.
Is very accurate.
And resident pervert Georgie Broad said there's too many fitties to count, to be honest.
Is that an official title?
It is now.
It is now, because it will be the same for tomorrow's recording as well.
No, it is. Yeah, I banked it up today when I was in my break at work.
Banked it up, right? Yeah.
I work in a place of education. It's
not
a library.
Around the books.
It's a library.
It's not.
Yeah.
Nice.
Madness. Yeah. So that's been Scream, and it's been a Scream. So we're gonna wrap it up. And Eammon, where can the fine folks at home see what you are up to?
They can see what I'm up to on Twitter at Eammon Jacobs. You can also find me on looper.com, writing mini little features on a variety of subjects. Not just the usual caped crusading shenanigans that I do on Heroic Hollywood, but that's also there. And yeah, you can just find me about the place, to be honest. At this point, I've got more bylines than I can shake a stick at, which is quite nice. I feel quite grateful for that. So yeah, come say hello on Twitters.
Cool. And we'll put the links in the boxes as we do every week. And we'll be back next week with a Nightmare on Elm Street. We've had a little Wes Craven special.
Nice. Thanks for having me, by the way.
Aw, you're welcome.
Always.
And I apologize for my really dodgy setup that I've got going on.
It's totally
Poor
fine.
lighting and sound.
It's totally fine. We'll just edit it so it's like just the head.
Just the head.
Just the head.
Not even like body or background, just this.
Mhm.
Just the head.
I don't know if anybody needs to see that.
Yeah. Right. That's all from us. We'll see you again soon. Be safe. Be good.
Don't take your mask off prematurely.
Keep your mask on. It's still a pandemic. Masks are good. Yeah. Maybe not a ghost face though. Like. Yeah.
Or a Michael Myers.
Or a Michael Myers. Or any of those silly guys in masks with a big knife. Yeah. For sure. All right. Bye, kids.
Bye.
Bye.